So we were revising Unit 1 through MCQs. Okay. And so the first question was, which of the following are physicochemical properties? So, solubility, hydrogen bonding, and protein binding. All three are physicochemical properties. It is very sad to see some people out of hesitation, I guess. So here the one tip that you need to learn is that we need to see all the options first before you select. Okay. So read all the options given under the question. So it will help you not only in this examination, but also in your future competitive examinations. So one of the trick is that the question may seem hard, but if you go to the options, it will be easy to attempt. In some cases, the question will be easy, but the options would be tough. Although I didn't do that in our examination, it would happen. Okay, so make it a habit to read the question completely and see all the options given below. Okay, and solubility depends on nature of the solute, nature of the solvent, temperature. Yes, all are the parameters that will decide the solubility. And lipophobic, lipo indicates lipid and phobic means hating. Okay, philic means loving. Okay, so hydrophilic means water loving, hydrophobic means water hating, lipid loving or lipophilic. Okay, so the answer is lipid hating. Then which among the following is the strongest bonding force? So these questions came from the notes. There you must be, if you observe, there is a tabular column mentioning all these four types of bondings and their relative strengths and examples and other details. So most of the questions came out of that box. So dipole bonding among the four is the strongest bonding force. Okay. Then hydrogen bonding belongs to what type of bonding from the following? So hydrogen bonding generally is an example for dipole bonding. So dipole is a molecule, right? Molecule attaining a charge. So there is a attraction between two molecules based on their complementary charges. So hydrogen bonding is one such example for dipole bonding. Then interaction between drug and water involves what type of bonding from the following? So it is an ion dipole bonding. So generally water is an example of dipole bonding. H2O, H2O. That means two molecules of H2O bind together with the dipole type of bonding. While a drug is involved, ion dipole bonding is the most prominent method of bonding. And which of the following is distance and temperature dependent? This is also from the same concept. Please mute yourselves. Okay. So van der Waals attraction. Van der Waals attraction is distance and temperature dependent. If you see electrostatic attraction between anion and cation is, so ionic bonding, the name itself indicates ionic, anion, cation. So it is ionic bonding. What type of bonding is most possible when electronegative atoms attach to carbon atoms? What is an electronegative atom? The atom which has a tendency to pull the electrons from its neighboring atom or molecule is electronegative atom. Examples are oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. Fine. So in such cases, dipole bonding happens because it will not break down the bond completely, but it will give a partial charge. Okay. So the main difference between ion and dipole is that ion, it will have a complete positive charge. In dipole, it will have partial charge. Okay. Please do remember the difference. What type of bonding is most possible between two non-polar groups? Non-polar groups means which do not have a tendency to form a charge, partial charge or full charge, will not be possible in such compounds or groups. In that case, van der Waals attraction comes into the play. Okay. Then hydrogen bond can be formed in what possible ways? Okay, it is very simple, intramolecular and intramolecular. Inter means between two molecules, intra means within the same molecule. Okay, so both is the answer. So see, most of the times people, although it is very easy and they know it, they marked it wrong. So again, I'm insisting you have to read the question completely and see all the options. Okay, read all four options and select the most appropriate option. So which form of drug will have more absorption? Ionized or unionized? Unionized drug form will have more absorption. It increases more lipid solubility. Okay, so unionized is more soluble in lipid. Okay. Metabolism that occurs in organs other than liver is termed as extrahepatic, right? If it is directed by liver, it is hepatic. If it is not, it is extra hepatic metabolism. So the people who didn't follow the classes regularly might have opted for conjugation and catabolism. Okay. And cytochrome P450 shows chromophore at which wavelength? Very easy question that I have insisted in class itself that 450 is the number we have because there is a formation of ternary complex because of which the compound, the enzyme gives a light and a color, okay, at 450 nanometers wavelength. Okay, that is the reason. So 450 nanometers. The answer lies in the question itself. So proton donors are so acids, right? H plus ions. If they can donate H plus ions, they are acids. If they can be accepted by only bases. So next question is the sequence of the same. Proton acceptors are bases. So this question is repeated. And partition coefficient can be measured by which of the following method? Shake flask method and HPLC method. Only two methods are there in the course, in the notes I have given. So both. Okay. 1-octanol serves as what phase in the measurement of partition coefficient by shake flask method. In shake flask method, we take one lipid equivalent and other water equivalent. So 1-octanol is acting as lipid phase. Okay. Then this question is again repeated and obviously other phase missing is aqueous phase. For that we use phosphate buffer. So phosphate buffer serves as what phase in the measurement of partition coefficient by shake flask method? Answer is aqueous phase. And pKa is known as acidity constant, ionization constant, dissociation constant. All these three names are synonyms of pKa. You can use any of the name to indicate pKa. So all. Albumin is the protein. So proteins majorly comes under the topic called distribution, right? So binding should happen. So albumin can bind to acidic drugs as well as basic drugs. Both drugs can bind to albumin, while acyl glycoprotein prefers to interact with only basic drugs. Okay, basic drugs mostly prefer to bind with acyl glycoprotein. And the property of chelation is exhibited by which of the following drugs? So these are the examples that are very much present and discussed. Penicillamine, dimercaprol and 8-hydroxyquinoline. All three exhibit the property of chelation. One is for each indication. So dimercaprol is an antidote for arsenic poisoning. And penicillamine is an antidote for copper poisoning. 8-hydroxyquinoline is useful in which of the following condition? See, antibacterial and antifungal. So all these are the three examples we have discussed while we were dealing with the chelation topic. So what is an enantiomer? So most of you people given various examples and various forms. Okay, so the standard definition is enantiomer are two molecules which resemble same in their molecular formula and the arrangement, but both are mirror images to each other and they cannot be superimposable. Superimposable means if we keep one above the other, the same group should match according to the spatial arrangement. So that will not happen in case of your enantiomers, enantiomeric pair. So they are mirror images and they cannot be superimposed, while diastereomer is neither it is a mirror image nor it is a superimposable. So in both the things, non-superimposable is the common thing, but mirror image is enantiomer, non-mirror image is diastereomer, but both are equivalent when it comes to their molecular formula. So what is optical isomerism? So optical isomerism, the ability of a compound to rotate plane polarized light either to the left or to the right of the incidence. Okay, and that compound is said to be optically active, and the whole phenomenon is known as optical isomerism. Okay, so what is geometric isomerism? Geometric isomerism, whenever you hear the term, you have to straight away uh, imagine that it is very much applicable to double bonded carbons, two carbons joined together with two bonds and having two to three functional groups attached to each carbon. Okay, its other name is cis and trans isomerism. So we'll number carbon 1's functional groups, we'll give priority 1 and 2, and we'll give the atoms or functional groups attached to second carbon as 1 and 2. If first priority of carbon 1 and first priority of carbon 2 are lying on the same side, they are called as cis isomer. If they are on opposite side, they are called trans isomerism. Okay, and it can also be called as geometrical, not other than geometrical isomerism, it can be also called as configurational isomerism. So what is positional isomerism or constitutional isomerism, other name? So it is simply having same molecular formula, but there will be difference in the position of the groups attached in. Okay, the position of groups will be differing, otherwise the molecular formula will be the same. So a ternary complex in oxidation cycle is formed in the presence of. So this oxidation cycle is very much part of drug metabolism, oxidation cycle. So cytochrome B5 reductase is the one in which presence the complex in the complex cycle, oxidation cycle, you will get a ternary complex in the presence of cytochrome B5 reductase. Please do refer to the cycle. And phase 2 reactions of drug metabolism can also be called as conjugation reactions. So most of the things are conjugations. We are conjugating with the specific amino acids or groups. So phase 1 reactions of drug metabolism are carried out by mixed oxygenases. Cytochrome P450 mixed oxygenases. We can remember this name. So purpose of phase 1 and phase 2 reactions of drug metabolism is to make drug more lipophilic or hydrophilic. We need to make them more hydrophilic so that they can be easily excreted out of the body. So this is all about the questions appeared MCQs from unit 1. Okay, let's see